Hey everyone, Frank here, and I'm really glad that you're here. In this video, we're going to take a look at how your knowledge and your ability to teach and share that knowledge is something that has value beyond just a classroom and beyond just doing tutoring. It has value by creating an educational YouTube channel. And if you're a teacher or someone with specialized knowledge and skills, then I'm hoping that this video will give you some ideas about starting a YouTube channel and some actionable steps so that you can take your knowledge, you can share it, you can help people learn, and maybe even make some extra income from it. It's something that I've done myself with this channel, and I really wanted to share this with you. So I've actually been working on this project for the entire summer so that I could help you learn how to do some of the things that I've done in terms of sharing knowledge on YouTube. Because I strongly believe that by sharing your knowledge with a wider audience, you're going to help more people and that you get a lot of different benefits from doing that. You know, you may have heard people say things like, teaching is a calling, or you don't go into teaching for the money. Those things are true. Anybody who's been a teacher for a while probably has a certain feeling that what you're doing is helping people. It's a great and rewarding feeling. But let's also be honest about the money part. It's great that it's a calling and that we don't get into it for the money. But, you know, it fails to consider the fact that to buy groceries or pay rent or pay a mortgage does cost money. So a lot of teachers, a lot of people who are educators are looking for a way to share their knowledge and maybe even turn it into a little bit of a business. Traditionally, we would do something like do tutoring at night or teach a night class. You know, it's funny, we don't go into a bank and say, could you please reduce your interest rates? You know, because finance is a calling and you don't get into banking for the money. But for some reason, people are very comfortable saying that about teaching. Now, I do want to point out, and I will talk a little bit about this, going to the point on YouTube where you're making money does take a little effort, but even if the goal isn't to create a YouTube channel for the monetary reward, it is still very rewarding to create a YouTube channel, and it can help you can help your teaching, it can help the way that you teach in many ways beyond just the ability to maybe monetize and make a little bit of extra money. So I don't necessarily want to make this all about the money, although that's an aspect of it. You know, I think what it is in the early days of teaching, people would just teach as part of a societal goal, like we want to make the world a better place, we want to help the next generation. And you would have like a master tradesperson, they'd bring on an apprentice and they would get cheap labor for their business and they would feed and they would house the apprentice, and the apprentice would work for cheap wages and eventually become a master themselves. Or sometimes if you think about old one-room schoolhouses, a lot of times a one-room schoolhouse would have been like a young single lady who would come in, that'd be the school teacher, and the community would feed that person, would provide housing for that person, would take care of that person, and that person would teach the children. In fact, you know, if you think about bringing an apple to the teacher, it's sort of something that we all bring an apple to the teacher. You know, that wasn't really intended to be a nice gift for the teacher. That was the teacher's lunch. So a lot of times that's how we took care of teachers in the old days. But besides a history lesson in teaching and what's happening, you know, when we look at teaching and education, it's a really growing area. It's something where we're seeing a lot of growth in education, and YouTube has a lot of features for education that you might not be aware of. When you think of YouTube, you might think of it as being a platform for a bunch of young people to do crazy videos, have a lavish lifestyle, make tons of money, and show it off. And that's a huge aspect. The entertainment aspect of YouTube does exist, but the education aspect of YouTube is there as well. Education has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's a business. You know, it's predicted to grow to $585 billion by 2027 with a growth rate of 10 to 15%. You know, we don't see that reflected in traditional education. A lot of times you don't sort of think of a school as being a place where you go to grow in terms of financially grow as an educator, but everybody who goes to school often wants to get a job so they can take care of themselves. Anyways, that's the history of education. Why did I decide to make this video? I wanted to make this video so that you can take advantage of your knowledge and your skills, so that you can share them with other people for multiple reasons and maybe make a little bit of extra income. You can share your knowledge online. The demand for quality, focused, accessible education really is growing. And we can provide that quality, focused education by creating our own YouTube channel. If you know programming, you can create a programming channel. If you know how to do math, if you know how to do a craft, no matter what your skill set is, you can share it on the YouTube platform. You can go in and you can create traditional lessons on YouTube, or you can create supplemental lessons that help provide perspective and knowledge for your students, for your learners, or an audience that you'd like to reach. There's a lot of educational features on YouTube that I think a lot of people don't even realize exist, and that's good. We can go in and we can take advantage of that. The only thing missing from the equation is you creating a channel, you sharing your knowledge. Now, there are many reasons why I think educators should have a YouTube channel, and I want to focus on 5 in this video, hopefully motivating you to consider creating your own YouTube channel, and I'd like to help you with that as well. More on that a little bit later. So the first reason that I think every educator should have a YouTube channel is to capture your knowledge in a way that it can be consumed anywhere, anytime. Not everybody learns at the same time, at the same pace. Not everybody lives in the same location. So you can expand your teaching across the world, and people can watch your video to learn what they need to learn anytime, anywhere. I think that's a great reason to create that resource and to have it on YouTube. The second reason that I think every educator should have a YouTube channel is that you can support students with extra help when they need it, and you don't have to repeat yourself in a classroom all the time or make yourself available at a specific time. What I mean by this is by creating a YouTube video, if you have something like a concept that students need to know in order to build their knowledge, you can provide resources to help students that are struggling with the concept, and you can create another video to help students that want to learn more about the concept. And then you can take the time you do have with students to really focus on practicing the skill set, because they've got the knowledge that they needed to acquire, or they've got some extra perspective that they wanted to have. This could be if you're a teacher that has a classroom, you're supporting your existing students with that extra help, or you're creating a variety of different learning options for students that need help to catch up with maybe a different teacher and they're not quite understanding the concept. I know this is something that I myself have done when I'm learning something new. I'm not quite understanding the way that it's being taught here, but if I go over here, I then can catch up or sometimes explore a little bit further. The third reason that I think every educator should have a YouTube channel is that you own your content. If we're teaching in a traditional corporate environment or academic environment, then the content that we deliver is often owned by the company or the school that created it. Now, this is a bit of a tricky area. You cannot take someone else's content and present it as your own. You have to create your own content. But when you take the time and effort to create your own content, you own that content. And by putting it on YouTube, you're going to be able to share that content with others. I won't get into all the details of this. I do recommend that if you do create content, you do create it on weekends or in the evening, and you create it on your own equipment, just so that there's no conflict of interest here. But if you do create content using your own equipment, in your own time, that's your content. And that means you can do things like monetize that content, and you can do things like share that content in a way that you want to share that content. The fourth reason that I think every educator should have a YouTube channel is it creates a professional image and a portfolio and a reputation. You can demonstrate your teaching skills across the world. If you decide that you want to work in a different school district, or if you decide that you want to go from academic training to corporate training, you now have a portfolio that demonstrates your ability to teach. It's a great feeling to be able to have something that demonstrates all of the things that you're able to do and learn and teach with other people in the world. So it's a great visual, accessible portfolio that helps with your educational reputation. The fifth reason that I think every educator should have a YouTube channel is something that I talked about right at the beginning. It's an opportunity to maybe make a little bit of extra money, or sometimes even get equipment that, you'll be sponsored. You'll be able to get some equipment that maybe you can use in your own teaching. There are a lot of sort of rewards for doing that go beyond rewards that you might be given as part of just a regular job. So I think it's a way to integrate yourself outside of just a narrow range of opportunities and expand opportunities a little more broadly, so that you can again make extra money or get access to resources and equipment that you maybe don't get access to in your day job. Now, those are just 5 reasons that I think are really good reasons to have a YouTube channel as an educator. There are more. And I've actually gone and created a free community for anyone interested in using YouTube for education. There's no cost. It's just a community that I started up on my own to try to get people talking about this subject. It's new. I'll put a link down below. I hope to see you there. I think it's useful. I also spent the summer designing and creating a course on how educators can use YouTube to be more effective teachers. It's a little bit more in-depth, and I actually go through from the very beginning of what you need to do to start a YouTube channel, to the type of equipment that you need to have on YouTube in order to provide it. And the answer is not very much. You can do it very low budget and build as your channel grows. And I also talk a little bit specifically about how education works on YouTube. There are plenty of different videos here on YouTube about YouTube and starting a channel for this and that. And to be blunt, there's a lot of noise around how we work with YouTube. I wanted to focus in on just how educators could use YouTube and how education can be done on YouTube. If you're interested in that, there's a link down below for that as well. But I do hope you'll come into the free community, that you'll start participating, and that we'll get more like-minded people, and we can help each other and come up with lots of different ideas of how to use YouTube in education, and how you can create your own channel so that you can participate and share your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, and all the things that you've spent a lifetime learning with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below on what you think about educators having their own YouTube channel, and if it's something that you're interested in pursuing.